Today, I wanted to talk to you all about energetic chords, and I'm going to start to scratch the surface of this complex and interesting topic. So, thanks so much for joining me here today. My name is Christine, and I'm a formally trained psychic reader and healer, as well as a psychic development teacher, a trance medium, and a professional musician. You can find out more about me and my services on my website, which is kyanitepsychic.com. I wanted to start with a simple kind of working definition of energetic chords. So they are beams of energy and information that flow from one life force to another, from one person's energetic body to another. And likely we call them chords because those of us looking at them clairvoyantly with our third eye, our psychic sight, will see them as chords. I know in my own practice, I've seen them show up like tiny threads or pieces of yarn, if you will. And I've also seen them look like giant hoses, like think fire hoses, and everywhere in between. So there's no one kind of fixed way that they show up. It really depends on what kind of information is flowing, how old they are, etc. And I just want to say, one aside, clairvoyance isn't the only sense that you can use to detect energetic chords. Those of you who do hands-on healing or any channeled healing can use the chakras in the palms of your hands to feel the presence of chords, or even, you can know that they're there using your claircognizance. You could know where they are, how long they've been there, all kinds of information coming to you from your psychic knowing. So you don't just have to rely on your clairvoyance. Just wanted to say that for those of you where it's not really your dominant sense at present. So I like to think of energetic chords as an ancient means of communication. Why? Because humans chorded into each other to communicate before we had language. It's really hard, I think, in today's day and age to imagine a time where there was no language, there were no symbols. How did we communicate? Well, chords, that's how we communicated. Maybe telepathy too a bit, but chords, that's really the first way. And so we've been chording into each other for millennia, right? And most of the time, it's unconscious. We just do it. Here's some examples of how we do it today. And I know when I first learned about this, I thought, oh my God, there's no way that I'm courting into people. I would never do that to someone, but we do it every day. So a good example would be if you're having coffee with a friend, you're going out to get a coffee and you're having a heart to heart. Just think about that phrase for a moment, a heart to heart. What is that really describing? It's describing when you chord into each other's heart chakras. So when you're having a meaningful exchange with a close friend, if you were to look at that clairvoyantly, you'd see these chords, these beams of energy and information flowing from heart chakra to heart chakra. And then in an ideal circumstance, once you both get up and go your separate ways, those chords dissipate. They just start to dissolve. Some other examples of chords that naturally form, we've been doing it for ages. Well, if you are intimate with someone, if you're having a sexual encounter with someone, what are you doing? You're really chording into each other's sacral chakra. And then when the exchange is over, those chords naturally dissipate in an ideal circumstance. Some more examples. In a classroom, say you're an elementary school teacher and you have your class full of children. As you're explaining a concept to them, they are all chording into your crown chakra. So not only are you telling it to them, showing them on the blackboard, they've got it in their book, they're also getting the information from you via your crown chakra. And then another example, probably is, I would say, the only beneficial long-term chord, and we'll go into more of that in a moment, would be between dependents and caretakers. So I love that my dog stepped into the camera, one of my dogs, because if you are someone like me that has a lot of fur babies, well, guess what? They are all corded into your root chakra, your survival center, right? Because they're depending on you to survive. If you're a parent that has children, they are corded into your root chakra because they're depending on you to survive. If you're someone that takes care of the elderly, they are corded into your root chakra because they're depending on you to survive. And then in an ideal circumstance, once your children are adults, those cords dissipate, right? And you can see that that is definitely one scenario where if there are still cords and your child is an adult, that's not beneficial for either of you. So those are some, present time examples. Cords can also exist from other lifetimes into the lifetime that we're living now. It's a tricky one because I would say that none of those cords are beneficial. We don't want to have energy and information feeding to you via a cord from another lifetime. That's not to say that it's not beneficial to access information from other lifetimes. It can be, absolutely, but you don't want the emotions, the circumstances to feed into present time as if they were your present reality, because they're not. So for me, in my practice, anytime I would see past life cords show up, they're definitely to be disconnected, right? So we've kind of arrived at the question of, are all cords non-beneficial? Or can some of them be beneficial? And I touched on the answer, right? There is no black or white here. Like I said, with dependents and caretakers, if you are willingly and consciously the caretaker of another living being, like my dog Rue here, then the cord that exists between the two of you is beneficial. If your child is now an adult and they're still corded into your root chakra, well, that is not beneficial, right? Any cord that is existent past its expiration date, past the time of the conscious exchange, is not beneficial. So to go back to some of those examples that I gave earlier, if you are a teacher and you've gone home for the day, but a whole bunch of your students are still corded into your crown chakra and they've got questions and they're just kind of pulling on you energetically with their questions, that's not beneficial for either of you, right? If you are no longer seeing a romantic partner, but you are still corded into each other's sacral chakras, not beneficial. If you are, not having coffee with your friend, but you're still feeling all of their feelings from that heart to heart, that means you're still corded into each other, and that is not beneficial. So anytime a cord is still there and it doesn't naturally dissipate, for whatever reason, maybe there was a lot of energetic charge in the exchange you had, maybe someone unconsciously wanted help, like, help me, so they don't want the cord to dissipate, that'll cause it to stick around. And, for most people, when this happens, they're not consciously trying to keep that cord going. So when you're doing energy healing and you come upon a cord and you get the, intuitive hit of where it came from, who it came from, what's going on there, it's probably not a good idea to call them up and be like, you corded into me, how could you? Because they didn't intend to do it. Sometimes it just happens. And that's why we have energetic tools and our awareness to be able to disconnect these cords, right? So 99.9% of the time, it's not conscious on the part of the other. So just separate it and move on. One thing I want to acknowledge is that there isn't a set, checklist of symptoms to be able to tell if you have old, outdated energetic cords. A lot of the time, if you're spending, time nurturing your intuition and in meditation, spending time going inward, you'll be able to get an intuitive hit like, ooh, I think there's some cords that need to be removed, right? But also some other ways to tell. If you feel really limited in your ability to move forward, it can be because of old energetic cords. And that's a real blanket kind of symptom and statement there that can manifest in a whole lot of different ways. One example would be old, outdated cords between parents and children. So say, you're an adult child and you're having a really hard time kind of forging your own path, but you want to. It could be because your parents are having a hard time letting go, having a hard time of letting you just go forth and develop into your own person, into an individual adult. And they're holding on to that energetic cord from root chakra to root chakra, right? And that can be mostly unconscious. It could be conscious too, but that's one example. Control energy, could be even out of jealousy. Someone doesn't want you to do something because they're jealous of you or your circumstance or your talent. And unconsciously, there could be an energetic cord that is restricting your movement forward. There's many different examples of this, but that control or limitation often can be an indicator that there's some cords present. So it's best to take a look or have a healer take a look at it. And then if you are feeling emotions from an exchange that you had with someone, going back to that coffee date example. So say, you're having that heart to heart and your friend was sharing that they're dealing with anxiety and you go about your separate ways and you're at home and you find, oh, I am so anxious and I just can't shake this feeling. That could be a sign that there's an old outdated cord from that coffee date that needs to be disconnected because it's feeding your friend's anxiety energy into you. And you're thinking, is this me? No, it's not. Right. Also, sometimes when you can't get someone out of your mind, you just can't stop thinking about them. It can be because of an energetic cord between both of you. Cords between lifetimes as well. One way that they manifest is when someone's stuck in a recurring dynamic or scenario or circumstance. And that could be because that circumstance or dynamic is feeding into their field and experience from another lifetime. And it's just constantly perpetuating it over and over and over. So once that cord becomes disconnected, the person's free to move on and have the experiences they originally desired to have in this lifetime. So those are just a couple of examples, but there's no, 1, 2, 3, check the boxes, figure it out. Really, the best thing I can say is cultivating your inner world and your connection with spirit to be able to get intuitive hits to lead you on that healing breadcrumb trail, right? So how do we remove cords? Say you are pretty sure you've got some, or you've seen it in meditation, or you had a reading with someone and they mentioned that there were cords present. How do you remove them? A couple of ways. One, in meditation, using energy tools. And I will be sharing a cord cutting meditation shortly on my channel. When it's up, I'll link it in this video. But that's a very effective way. Another is in a healing session. Sometimes we can't see everything that's going on or exactly pinpoint where it is in the body, and it's helpful to have a practitioner take a look. So whether that's in the clairvoyant reading and healing space, or in a hands-on healing space, or in a channeled healing space, right? There's no one modality that's going to do it. They all can be effective, but having someone else take a look, absolutely, and remove it. There are many rituals, folk rituals and traditions of cord cutting. I know for my lineage is Southern Italian, there are definite, cord cutting rituals that are highly effective. And just go researching in the cultures that you're guided to research into, and you'll find some. And then also working with your guides. If you get the intuitive hit that there are some old cords that are ready to go, ask your guides to come in and help give you a healing to remove them. You can absolutely work with your guides as your healing team. A couple of things I want to say about removing cords. Two things, actually. One is that when you do this, or when anyone does it, it's really important to fill in the space where the cord was removed with some neutral healing energy. I always see that as gold. Gold is a neutral, high vibration healing color in my practice. But you don't want to just remove it and then leave an empty space where it could just reattach or something else could get in there. You want to fill that space in with a neutral healing energy. And then the second thing is more, I guess, healing aftercare. So if you're removing a cord, say that was connected to someone else, say a past relationship, perhaps you don't want to spend a whole lot of time thinking about that person afterwards, or doing things that are going to reattach a cord between both of you. So it's really up to you to care for yourself afterwards. Make sure that your thoughts and your actions and your intentions support the healing that just took place. So thanks so much for spending time with me today. I hope that this video is helpful to you where you are in your journey right now. And like I said, I scratched the surface of a deep and complex topic. So I hope that you're inspired to dig deeper on your own journey, your own search for knowledge and truth. If you enjoyed this video, please do hit the like button. Consider subscribing to my channel. I love posting regular videos and meditations about spirituality, spiritual and psychic development. And I do want to let you all know that I have some resources. I have a free workshop that helps you awaken your awareness of energy. It's a great start here point, and I'll put that link below, as well as a wonderful 4-week class to get introduced to some basic psychic energy tools that you can use to heal yourself and also to heal others. And I do lastly have a 6-month container that will begin in 2024 to help you learn how to read the energy of anyone, anything, other lifetimes, pathways, the Akashic. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to share with you a lot of the tools and techniques that I've learned in my years of formal training, and I will put all of the information to sign up for the waitlist for that 6-month container in the description box below. And I want to say too that psychic development is beneficial for everyone, not just if you want to be a professional reader and healer. It's wonderful for your self-healing journey, for really tapping into spiritual freedom, growth, and all the transformation available to you in this lifetime. So thank you so much for being here with me today, sending you all my warmest wishes, and I look forward to connecting with you in the next video.